Kelley Yates, tell us what you do.
No, I do promotion and education for the sheep and goat industry for Kentucky.
You know what, it's time for a little maintenance. Now we have katadins. They don't have to be sheared. Explain what a hair sheep is. It's kind of the opposite of what you might think.
Right. So you got two different types of sheep in Kentucky. So you got your wool breeds, which is the typical breeds that have been around since, the 20s and 30s. And then we got the hair sheep that have moved in, and they've become popular for two different reasons. One is because they have the hair and you don't have to shear them, because getting a shear is harder and harder to do in Kentucky, and then finding a market for that wool is harder to do. And the second thing that comes in is that they are, like you said, pretty hardy sheep. Now, any small ruminants in Kentucky, I don't care what breed they have, you're gonna have parasites and you're gonna have foot issues. So those are the two things that you have to stay on top of. But the katadins are generally, they can handle a worm load better than some of the wool breeds can.
Now, we have, these are kitting panels. So basically we have a back, two sides, and a front. And you can keep adding things. It's all you do is put these pins in and get these together. Can you dig it?
I dig it. All day long.
Let's get it set up.
All right. So these are good. You see this size right here? Even though these are small, these lambs are never going to be able to get through here, even when they're babies. And that's great.
That's some mistakes that we went through. We put cattle panels in here. Guess what?
Yeah, right underneath it.
So this is the perfect size.
That's the perfect size.
I mean, in a relatively short period of time, we got this thing set up. What took 3 minutes?
Maybe. Yep.
We got them in here. Now we can work them up.
Right. And they don't have a whole lot of room to move around, which is good, because you don't want them running and chasing because it's already getting hot. They're already panting.
Right. All right, let's talk about what a workup process is. What do we need to do today?
All right, so the thing you need to keep in mind for this year is that we had a very mild winter. So what does that mean for sheep and goats?
Parasites.
Parasites, okay? It never got cold enough for them to die or go dormant. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna check your sheep and your goats for worms. The most susceptible ones are the babies. Okay, because they're not old enough, they haven't gained any what's called refugia. Refugia is the population of worms in their gut that will still die when you worm them, and that's what you want to work up to. So you don't worm everybody all the time. You only worm the ones that really have to be wormed. The worms become resistant. They're super smart for single-celled animals, when they become resistant to that wormer, that means that you can never use that wormer again.
Oh, wow.
And there's only a very handful of wormers on the market. So when you get through all that, you're done.
So this is fomaja, which means basically it's a test to look at what?
Right. Parasites are going to attach to the inside of the gut, and they're essentially going to suck the blood. It's a parasite. So you can tell if your animal has a heavy parasite load based on how anemic they're going to be. So you're going to look at the inside eyelid, the under eyelid, to see how anemic they are. The more anemic, the more white they are, the wormier they are. So if it's really red, they're good to go. This is the second level, they're still good. Okay, they just got a little bit more worms than these do over here. This is when you get down to the 3, you see how it turns into a question mark? So check, you're good to go. 3 is when you have to start questioning what's going on. Now this 3, that's an okay level, you just don't ever want it to get down below this. So you'll see here the exclamation point is, whoa, you better back up, you gotta fix this. And this one is when you for sure have got to worm, okay? That's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna check your moms first. If your moms are in this range or lower, I guarantee your babies are even worse because they're more susceptible. So this is what you do. You've got the Sidectin drench, 2.3 milliliters for every 25 pounds. Okay. I'm gonna say they're roughly around 30 pounds. Okay, so you go to 30, you're getting 2.7. All right, so here's the difference between your lambing tube and your drench gun. Okay, they're both in milliliters, which is fine. But the key is this ball right here and this angle. So when you're doing the drench gun, you're gonna pull this up inside your drench gun on what you want. This is gonna go down in their throat, okay? The ball is on there because their tongue and their teeth start wrapping around that. And if you're putting this in their throat and they're trying to swallow it, it's gonna go exactly where it's supposed to go. This wormer needs to go directly in the rumen, because they have a 4-compartment stomach. It needs to go in the rumen because that's where the parasites are. If you just haphazardly put this in there or try to use this one and they're not trying to swallow, it's not gonna go in the rumen, it's not gonna do any good. And you're getting about ready where you're gonna have to do some hoof trimming, okay? Because you're gonna want this to be flat and flush. And you see how there's manure caked up in that toe right here? you're creating a pocket for foot rot to happen. So I'm gonna do a little trimming, and I would check all these babies and see if they need to be wormed and worm accordingly. I don't think I'd worm the moms just yet.